Hello guys, welcome back. Princess might be joining us back there. Yeah, there she goes. She's doing her thing. So yeah. People have said they've heard cats meowing in the background. I have the robot cats. I have, as you guys know, severe allergies, and every once in a while they remember to work. Yes, baby. So, I wanted to talk to you about, something that as we try to improve ourselves, and I think we don't have to go crazy with it, but always throughout our lives, try to make ourselves into better people. As we try to do that, there are going to be people out there that haters going to hate, right? Especially if they see you putting a genuine effort in it and you're being very open. And it doesn't have to be, say, on the internet. Yes, baby. It can be, she's agreeing, I guess. It can be in real life. They can see that, maybe you feel you're pretty ignorant, and there's no shame in feeling that. We've all felt that way. You feel ignorant about a subject, so you start going to the library and you start learning and you start teaching yourself and you start applying yourself. There's always going to be those hateful people that are going to drag you down, because why are you applying yourself, Why are you trying to be something better? Do you think you're better than the rest of us? That really hits home for a lot of us, right? Why are you trying to be so much better? You think you're better than everyone. You get a lot of that. Um, or, they just don't agree with your opinion. So they just start making stuff off right off the top of their head, and on the internet we call them trolls, but in real life, it's really hurtful, right? You're trying to be the best you can be. You're trying to work with your chosen divinity, and they've always got something to do. They've always got a way to try to, throw you off your game, destroy your relationship with your deity. Try to get you to react the way they would react. And the thing we have to remember about hateful people is that there's one person they hate more than anyone else. Themselves. More than they hate you, more than they hate me, they hate themselves. They do. They hate themselves, and they're not going to internalize that, because hating yourself feels pretty crummy, even though they're still feeling it. They're kind of like those people that they come and they dump all their psychic BS on your lawn, and they think that takes care of it, and they don't have to handle it. They just come and they unload every time you see them. It's like they have dumped all the psychic bullshit from their entire lifetime in your front lawn, and they think they're getting away with something, and they're not. It's still inside there. It's still inside there. We talked about talking to I keep it real with you guys, talking to Jesus the other day, and he's like, it's like you got a literal well of that stuff. Maybe you need to dig up the well and cap it once and for all, and deal with that. And you had a point. Some of us plant wells in our own souls, or they're planted there by other people, that hate and anger and whatever come out of it. Maybe they were planted for very good reasons. Maybe we were abused. Maybe we grew up in a toxic household. Maybe we suffered a violent attack. Maybe we've had a lot of setbacks in our life. There are a lot of reasons we can justify digging that well and having that endless well of hate and anger in something. But that's when you start to, whether you call it talk with the gods or you're more comfortable saying prayer, you go to the gods in prayer and you say, I've got this well of hate. And no matter what I'm doing with it, keeps coming up. Or I've got this well of anger, and no matter what I do with it, it's coming up and it's getting pretty bad. Maybe we're coming close to losing a job or a marriage or a friendship or whatever over it. It can be serious. It's not cute. You can kind of tell somebody's maturity level, and this has nothing to do with age, with how they handle their anger. If they're really immature, they want to impress you with their anger. And this can be somebody in their 90s. They're going to want to impress you with their anger. They could scare people. Because they buy into that very toxic patriarchal mindset that men are angry, they're violent, and they rule everything, with an iron fist. And I'm like, ooh, you're on fire back here. Thank you, baby. And so they think anger is a good thing. And, anger can be good if you're being mistreated, sure. If you're suffering an actual injustice, sure. But being angry because life is hard, life is hard, man. Unless you find the fast track to instant manifestation, I hope you share it with the rest of the class. Life is hard. Even the original teachers of, positive attitude and positive mindset didn't say just sit in your house and think good thoughts and the world will come to your door begging you to take this job, begging you to take this spouse, begging you to take this house. You still had to go out and go look for it. It was, you picked a god, angel, whatever you picked as a partner, and you set a goal and you work towards it. That's how it works. But to get back on track, these people see manifesting, not manifesting, I'm sorry, these people, that's another video. These people see anger as a good thing. And they see being hateful towards people as a good thing. They see it as power because that's how the patriarchy for thousands of years has shown power, shown strength through brutality. And maybe they don't dare fight another male because they're often, though not always, male. They might be too small, they might be too young, they might be too old, but they'll bully other people and they'll be hateful towards other people. And it's just one of those things we have to remember that, they hate themselves. They hate themselves most of all. And they have to be taught another paradigm. They're broken. Someone who thinks that being mean and cruel to other people equates power, they're broken. They're very profoundly broken inside. The Christians would say they need Jesus. We would maybe say they need Boulder. And I got exactly back here. This is someone you would really like to send off to work with Boulder for a season. And no matter which version of Boulder you believe in, the warrior or the gentle god or a mixture of both, they need to go off and work with a god that will teach them that that is not the way to impress people. That there's a lot of toxic masculinity built into especially heathenry, but it's built into all religions and it's starting to encroach on all spiritualities, where the primate that can get on his hind legs and beat his chest the most is the top most powerful primate. And remember, we're a species of ape. And, it's not how we want to run things anymore. It's not how we want to run things anymore. They're broken people and they do need healing. But they're still, they're still harmful. What do we do? Because some of them clearly don't want to be helped. There are people that are going to go through their whole life with a chip on their shoulder, angry at the world, very bitter and mean. The best we can do is to lead by example. As I've struggled and climbed out of one way of seeing the old man, I've climbed up higher and I'm trying to climb up higher, make myself into a better human being, and not in a vainglorious way, just to be a better human being. That means I need a lot of work. As I'm doing this, Odin's holding me up to that standard. And I've had my share of trolls recently, and of course, people come up with creative ways to be mean. Of course, it upsets you. I'm not, I haven't hit Nirvana yet. I'm not a Buddha. I'm not floating in front of the camera. Of course you get upset. Of course, people that do that usually have a talent for, finding their target. And Odin is going to hold me to my new standard. I do all the love and light and healing I want, but he's going to make sure I stick with it. So, he's like, this is great. This is great, but you're going to stick with it. And I kept sitting down to try to make a video and I kept failing horribly. And I went and I don't know why I got distracted, because I'm easily distracted. I have the attention span of a toddler. And I looked up a certain celebrity, and I'm not going to say who it is, because if they're your favorite person on the earth, you do you. I personally think they're a trouble person. I looked them up on YouTube because I saw they'd done a video of something, and like everything they ever did just popped up into like the response. I'm like, oh yes, this is why I don't watch their channel. And I went and I looked it up on Bing for the heck of it, see if I could earn some Bing points, and there was actually a debate site. And people debated, do you think this is a good celebrity? Do you think they're a bad celebrity? Or are they crazy? You know what? And the most compassionate answer I saw is that they think they're a very broken person. They think that they have a lot of hate to give out to the world because they're broken. And they think that they need a ton of unconditional love and that they do need Jesus in their life. And not in that sanctimonious way, in the very rare way you hear actual Christians say that, somebody needs Jesus in their life. Somebody needs that unconditional love because it's obvious they aren't getting it right now. They need that in their life. Whether the trolls of the internet need Jesus or Balder or something like that, they need unconditional love somewhere in their life. They need to find it with some God. They need to find it with a God. It's a different God for all of us, or we'd only have one. They need to find, yeah, right on back here, so he's happy. They need to find a God who brings out their best. If you're working with a God who brings out your worst, that's really not that God's fault. It's more our own failing. It's just like when you're going through high school or you're going through college or whatever, you should be being taught to work with different people. It's why you're given group projects and everything. And you're being prepared for the real world where, yeah, you're going to work with people that won't do any of the work on a project, just like in school, and they'll still want credit and still want to get a paycheck. You're going to work with people that are going to steal your ideas. You're going to work with people that are hateful, and you're going to have to learn how to get along with all these people. And one of the individuals recently was, giving static, and we're not trying to feed trolls here, but I think it's a teaching moment for all of us. And if I was still working with Odin on a really low level, and it's not like I think I'm high up here, elevated above everyone else. It's just I'm trying to make myself into a better person. If I would have worked with him, still been working with him at the level where I started, from the nightmare fuel that I came into working with him by, I would have taken great joy in doing something horrible. But, working with him the way I am now, as the way I approach him now, it was, one, you shouldn't talk about any god like that. Yeah, I come on and I yell because I'm human and he hurts my heart or he betrays me or he does something. And, I have to learn to love him unconditionally. Odin's gonna be the god to teach me unconditional love. So is Loki. And I got, yep, guess what I'm gonna do next? And, I'm gonna have to learn to love those two unconditionally. Unconditional love is very rare for us as humans. We usually put conditions on it. We say, no, I don't have condition. Oh, yes, we do. If you got mad with somebody, you just found out what one of your conditions are. And Odin broke my heart recently, but I can either choose to love him unconditionally or I can choose to lose him. It's one or the other, He's made that crystal clear. Now I'm getting a sense of pride back there. He'll let us become whatever we want to become, but we have to show we're going to walk our walk. Now that I've come to him and I've said, this is my great idea, I'm going to read all these books, listen to them on YouTube and watch all these videos, and I'm going to clean up my life and I'm going to do all this stuff and I'm going to become a better human being, old man. Great, he's all behind it, but I got to put the work in, I got to put the work in, I got to get to it. And it was very sad that this person was, they've attacked this channel off and on for years. We're probably giving them more credit than they need, but let's say they were telling the truth. You don't gain anything from your current gods by attacking your old god. We don't gain anything when we fell with a god. We've all fallen short with gods. And looking back over my life, every time we fell short, like I really could not work with the certain gods too well. I would just have personality conflicts with them. That was me being unflexible. That really was me being unflexible. You really have to learn sometimes when you're working with a divinity, you have to be more like that tree that goes like this in the wind and doesn't break. If you just stand there, you're going to get hurt. You're going to get hurt. They are literally a divinity. They are literally used to get in their way. You're going to get hurt. Especially, it's amazing how many divinities aren't good with words. They're good at hearing words of worship, but when it comes to communicating what they really feel in their heart of hearts, they cannot. I have to say, use your indoor voice, use your words on a regular basis, whether it's Loki or Odin. And, it's our fault when we fail. It really is. And it's not condemning that person or condemning myself or condemning any of us when we fall. We're human, we're going to fall short. But, you drag that action along with you. The tendency to fail because your temper goes off. The tendency to fail because God is not what you read about in a novel or you saw in a game or you saw in a comic book. That bad tendency, you're dragging it with you, and maybe that tendency doesn't crop up, okay? Maybe that tendency doesn't crop up with this new god, because you would never do that to this new god, right? Another one will tend to crop up, And maybe I shouldn't feed the trolls, but I said, one, I did reply, I didn't have to, but I was like, one, it's not God's fault when we keep losing our temper, because I'm working on mine, I am. It's not a God's fault. It's our fault. It's our failing that we keep losing our temper. Whether this person needs therapy or whether they need love back to wholeness by Jesus, I don't know. But they need something in their life that's clear. And I said, what are you going to do? Provided they were being serious, because you never know if somebody's just trolling you or they're being serious. You have to guess. I said, what are you going to do when these new gods fail? Because they will. What are you going to do when you get angry with them? What are you going to do when the hard times come? It does not sound like they have a plan. If your plan is no good, hard times will never come, I'm sorry, that plan's going to fail. Whether it's the universe testing us, it's the gods introducing excitement into our lives, hard times always come. And I don't mean we're all going to go through some kind of traumatic disaster. I mean, just, I was meditating today. I was listening to this stuff. I was trying to be a better human being. Huge amount of trolls to deal with. It felt like it undid everything. And I was just, so hard on myself. I was like, I don't know why I bother. I've been working all these weeks and months to become a better human being. And I guess I'm not after all. But we can be. We can be. Becoming a better human being doesn't mean you're not going to have a reaction to people when they're intentionally mean. Of course you are. Of course you are. And it doesn't mean that you're always going to be the person to love people back together. Some people are very dangerous and hateful, and they need to be in a therapeutic setting, to be clear. Don't just go hugging every sketchy person you run across. That might not end well for you, and some people do not like to be touched. But, we can be more compassionate. And if we're trying to better ourselves and you're working with a god like Loki or you're working with a god like Odin, fine. Try to better yourself. But bring that to the table every day. Don't just bring it to the table when you're meditating or you're perfectly fine because you're all off on your own. If you're not bringing that back into the real world, dealing with other human beings, because it's probably not animals or plants making you mad, it's probably humans, they're going to be the first to bring it up. They're going to be the first to show you fell short. And I'm going around the house after repeatedly failing, and I picked up a magazine, one of those magazines you get trying to sell you stuff. And I had not seen this in the magazine. I don't know where it came from. It had to be in there logically. But they not only are selling you their stuff, they also put in like little flyers for other stuff. And this thing fell out, and it was a white horse. And I'm like, okay, old man, I get it. And look Christmassy. And I unfold it, and it's a Coca-Cola ad. Like, you need this Coca-Cola tchotchke of a white horse pulling an open sleigh. And, we could say that was just random. We could say it was Odin, like, you have to stay on this path. You have to stay on this path. There are these two people seated in there. It's kind of Victorian. I don't even know if Coca-Cola is at all. But, the idea was, if you're going to live this is what I want from you. If you want Oski, if, I associate with him with Yule and, kindness and the children and healing, If you want Oski, you gotta show up for Oski. If you show up for Evildoer or some of those other names he has, if you show up for him, you're getting him, but you have to think before you respond. So hopefully I made an ounce of sense there, and I hope I actually got to the topic of the video. Today's been a very surreal day, but you know, guys, some people are just, they're broken. You know, hateful people are broken. It's hard to remember in the heat of the moment. It's hard to remember when they're saying abusive or cruel things to you. It's hard to remember when perhaps you grew up in a household with them, but you know, they are very broken, angry people. And with time and distance, we can remember that and have compassion on ourselves for having went through it because it was truly not our choice. And you can have compassion on people from a distance. It doesn't mean we go and hug our haters and hug it out. It's okay. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you later. Bye bye.